Hey guys, David here with a new video. I think you're quick to notice that this little setup is a little bit different than what you're usually accustomed to, but I figured, just try something new, bring you guys closer over to me because I got something to show you. Plus, I also want to see just how wide this wide-angle lens that came by default with this camera really is. But in this video, I want to talk about real quick about a commodity that has become very special over the past, I want to say the past generation. Ever since the PS3 and the Xbox 360 became a little bit more mainstay within the home, more and more companies, mainly publishers, will take advantage of the pre-orders and add a little something. Of course, if you couldn't tell already by the title, I'm talking about Steelbooks. Oh. Ooh. Ah, yes. Steelbooks. So here's the deal. If you consider yourself somewhat of a hardcore gamer, you probably purchased an awful lot of games. And if you have purchased an awful lot of games, there might have been a collector's edition here and there. And usually, publishers throw in Steelbook cases with those collector's editions. And that's what I happen to have right here. I don't have that many. I know that there's several other people, especially here on YouTube, that have way bigger collections of Steelbook cases here. But what I mainly want to talk about in this video is why exactly they're so awesome. First of all, it cases your game in a steel case, so to make sure that it gets the ultimate protection it deserves. Secondly, it kind of emphasizes the importance of that game, because rarely are you going to buy the collector's edition for every single one game that you have anticipating the entire year. You normally choose at least one, at least I do. There's usually like 1 or 2 games per year that I look at and go, okay, I'm going to get the collector's edition for that, but not every single one, because there's some collector's editions that I look at and I'm just like, I'm not going to buy that. But whenever a game makes it a point that it's going to be like the last in a series like Batman Arkham Knight or Uncharted 4 or whatever, then that's when I put in that extra money to get the collector's edition, and I'm so grateful that they throw in those Steelbook cases. But the other thing that I really love about these things is because they take advantage of it being a separate type of case, and they usually, not all the time, but usually throw in some added artwork that is specially designed for the Steelbook case and not so much for the usual cover that you get on the box art whenever you purchase the standard edition. And sometimes they don't even come with a collector's edition. Sometimes publishers will throw them in if you do pre-order a game. With that said, these are not an incentive to pre-order a game. The game itself should be. So don't watch this video and finish it and go into the comments thinking that I'm telling you to pre-order games just because they come with the Steelbook edition. In fact, you're going to find one entry here that you're going to look at and be like, did you get that just for the Steelbook edition? No. But I thought, okay, what the hell? They're saying it comes with the pre-order. I literally pre-ordered the day before. I was going to get the game no matter what, but I figured, you know what the hell? Throw it in there. If they ran out of stock, I won't have lost any sleep over it. So with that said, let's go ahead and start with my little mini collection here. I don't have that big of a collection of Steelbook cases here. I know that there's some other people on YouTube that have way bigger assortments of Steelbook cases, but this is my own personal stash. Funny enough, though, I feel like I could have sworn I had way more than this, but 5. Just 5. So, number 1, if you couldn't already tell right now from looking at the video, is The Last of Us. Purchased The Last of Us Special Edition, not the Collector's Edition, the Collector's Limited Edition, whatever came with the statue. I'm not a huge fan of statues, so I didn't bother with that. But I did get the slightly cheaper but still more expensive than the original collector's edition that came with the artwork and the comic book and all that. But they also threw in this Steelbook case, and obviously, as you can tell, it's much more different and much more minimal than the artwork that you got in the original standard edition. But here in the front, we got a black and white matte finish picture of Ellie, and then you flip it to the back and you got Joel, which only makes sense. And you got the nice little logo of The Last of Us there, and on the spine, of course, you see The Last of Us. Only here, I feel like the font was a little too small. They could have made it just slightly bigger. I don't know if you can see it right there. I'm out of focus and I don't have like a remote to toggle with the camera. Then you open it up, and this is where things start to get even cooler with the Steelbook cases. You got some inserts here that they usually throw in with the standard edition, so that's fine. Some publishers do that, some don't. But here we have a little insert of The Last of Us as well as some Naughty Dog stickers, which I keep forgetting to put on my laptop. But then inside you got the disc for The Last of Us, and if I were to go ahead and remove the disc, you can see in the back a background, and it's pretty much the background that you see in the main box art for The Last of Us, only they took out Ellie and Joel. It would have been nice to see Ellie and Joel there, but I'll still take that really cool backdrop that they threw in. And an awful lot of Steelbooks do this, so I think that's rather cool. put all that stuff back in there and move on to the next one. And make sure I don't bend anything. Alrighty. So yeah, that was The Last of Us. And rest assured, I will try to get myself the Steelbook edition for Last of Us Part 2, should there be one. Next up is Batman Arkham Knight. This is another cool one because, again, they didn't use that original box art that they used for the standard version, and they went even a step further and they didn't even put the logo on there. Over here we have the Last of Us logo. Here they're like, you know what this is, it's fucking Batman. So they just put Batman right there, the alternate artwork looking nice and cool, and you got a nice little reflective finish that's hopefully coming across neatly on the camera. And then on the side, in rather sizable font, you got Batman Arkham Knight. And then on the back, you see a fraction of the Batmobile with the tire right there, with the same kind of reflective finish, which I think is cool. Then you open it up, and similar to The Last of Us, you got the game right here. You got some inserts right here that had some codes, especially to those of us who pre-ordered. And once more, you take out the inserts, you got some artwork going on right here. Right here, you actually have the chest of Batman. You got his armor, his six-pack metallic abs. And then on the other side, I believe, is, again, the tire for the Batmobile with the little Batman insignia right there. So, again, really cool choices that they make with some, if not most, Steelbook cases. Okay, so it's the next one coming up right here, even though it's not the next one that I bought, chronologically speaking, but I feel like I need to get it out of the way. I want to save some of the better ones, especially the best one, for last. But the next one is an example of how not to do a Steelbook case, even though it's not shitty, but at the same time, a completely wasted opportunity. Mass Effect Andromeda. This is the one that I was referring to, where you guys are going to look at it and be like, you pre-ordered Mass Effect Andromeda to get the Steelbook edition. Hey, Best Buy was throwing it in. Best Buy is my store of choice, so I figured, what the fuck. But the reason why I say it's a missed opportunity is because, if you couldn't already tell, the artwork on this is pretty much identical to that of the original game. In fact, I think I still have the original game right here. See if I can reach for it. And presto. Here is the original PS4 Standard Edition case. Here we have the Steelbook. Again, not that much difference. There really is not a whole lot of difference there, except for, again, the matte finish, which feels rather nice, especially on your face. Yeah, although not so much when you have a beard growing like I do right now. But you also got the Mass Effect logo on the side rather than on top of his or her helmet. Besides that, we flip it to the back. Nothing. Except what you could perceive as the Andromeda Galaxy, with that nice reflective / matte finish. That, again, looks cool, but you could have added something cooler there. On the side, Mass Effect Andromeda. And then you open it up, and again, at least they managed to get something right. And that is that if you remove the disc, no inserts this time around, but if you remove the disc, you got a slightly cool background of Ryder, whether it be female Ryder or male Ryder, gazing across this vista here, which is from the opening of the game. So at least I got that. Put that back in there. But again, a humongously missed opportunity to throw in some cooler artwork here on the front cover. But then again, they use that alternate cover for the deluxe editions or complete editions, whatever the fuck EA was trying to nickel and dime you for. Next up is Dishonored 2, which I'm really proud of because they did something similar with the Batman one, where there's no title, there's no fancy font, it's just the faces, and the faces and the pictures speak for themselves. And I think that's rather cool. On the front here, you got Emily Caldwell. Flip it to the side, Dishonored 2, of course, as always. And then on the back, you got Corvo wearing his badass assassin skeletal-like mask that I still wish I could wear for my own, but unfortunately the one that came with the collector's edition is not wearable. Can't even fit my face. And of course, keeping with the trend, you got some inserts here. Oh my god, when does this expire again? Oh my god. Thank God I'm making this video because I totally forgot I have a code for Dishonored Definitive Edition. Got the background here, and again, you see Emily Caldwell, Corvo right there. Nice little artwork as soon as you remove the disc. Keeping with the trend of taking every opportunity to do some cool designs with the cases. And again, I wish I had some more Steelbook cases, but that's only if the game warrants it, because you either got some cool artwork or you are supposedly the final installment in the franchise that I love. And all of those things happen to be the case for my last little entry here in my collection of Steelbook cases, Uncharted 4. I knew I needed to have this. Whether it be the original edition that came with the statue, or the much less expensive version that they did a similar thing with The Last of Us, where they had the collector's edition that came with the statue that was like $120, and then they had like an $80 survival edition, whatever the hell it was called, that came with the Steelbook case. Pretty much everything except the statue and a couple of downloadable bonuses. But to me, the coup de grace of that thing was the Steelbook case, because there was something about this artwork that just... It really hypnotizes me, because they got the colors correct. You got some complementary works of art going on right here. And you also got that comic book like design to the entire thing, from the way that the characters are collaged together to the way that they're actually drawn. It's amazing. I love it. I almost wish that this was like a full-size poster that I can hang up on the wall. But alas, it's not. At least for now it isn't. I don't know if I'm going to look this up on Google or whatever, and maybe there is a poster of this, and if so, maybe I'll get it myself, because you got the nice reflective red going on right there in the bottom, but then at the back, on the top, you got the purple. You got Drake right there, Sully, Helena, the villains, Uncharted 4. It looks really, really awesome. It looks like a very old school 80s Drew Struzan. At least I believe that's his name. Drew Struzan, the guy who would hand draw all those posters from Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Gremlins, or Goonies. Those hand-drawn, painted type of Back to the Future, those type of posters that I absolutely adore. It kind of resembles that similar style, except not fully hand-drawn, but much more like a comic book page cutout. And then you flip it to the back, and you got the similar art style going for it, except here you only got the purple reflective sky, as well as the skeleton that you see in the opening screen of Uncharted 4 when you first load up the game. And down the side, once more, you got Uncharted 4, only very small font. I don't know what's with Naughty Dog putting really small font in their spines, but whatever. I guess that's kind of like to keep the mystery going. It kind of puts emphasis on you wanting to take that out. When you go to GameStop, you pull it out and you're like, what is this? I can barely read it. Oh, it's Uncharted 4. Maybe that's what they were trying to do. So, again, you take out these little inserts. What is that? Did I redeem this already? Yeah, I already redeemed that. Got some stickers, some more Naughty Dog stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then, sadly, this is my only little gripe with the Uncharted 4 Steelbook, is that awesome artwork right there, not so awesome interior artwork. It doesn't pop, at least as much as others do, because when you remove the disc, on the inside you have a map of Madagascar, at least ancient Madagascar, whatever you want to call it. But you basically have a map that you kind of catch glimpses of in the game, but that's all it really is. And for it being the final installment, I was just hoping for a little more to come out of the interior here. But at least we ended up with this that I can be very happy with. And that does it for my collection of Steelbook cases. So now I ask you guys, do you have any Steelbook cases for your games laying around? And if so, please let me know in the comments which ones do you guys own. How do you feel about Steelbook cases? Do you think that they are overrated, and do you think that it's a cheap cash grab whenever publishers throw them in with pre-orders, or do you think that it's actually something rather cool that you hope catches on? The only thing that I wish that the industry would do a little bit more is that whenever they throw these in with collector's editions, they only do the Steelbook, and you usually never get the original standard case. The only exception out of all these games that I got the Steelbook cases for was Batman Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight, Rocksteady, the publishers over there at WB, they were kind enough to actually throw this in with the standard Batman Arkham Knight case that I have laying around somewhere. But the original blue case for the PS4, they threw that in along with the Steelbook. I thought that was actually rather cool. And similar thing, if you couldn't already tell from the video, with Mass Effect Andromeda. They threw this in as a separate little thing for pre-ordering on top of the standard case that you usually get when you buy the game at retail. All the other ones, however, it was just the Steelbook and not the other case. And that normally doesn't bother me, but ever so often you get a situation like The Last of Us, where as much as I like this artwork that's very minimal, but it's very effective, part of me kind of wishes that I had that other case that had that cool poster-like artwork of Ellie and Joel looking back, walking amongst that water down the city that The Last of Us is known for. So I wish I could switch the disc from one to another, but I digress. Anyways, that about does it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Let me know in the comments what you guys' opinions are on Steelbook cases, and if you own any of them, please let me know which ones you have managed to collect thus far. Also, make sure you like and share this video, and of course subscribe for more videos coming very soon. Until next time guys, take care.